All right, so from these liberal cities, you're getting quite a massive exit. So let me show you in the blue areas. This is from Steve Turley. Out of Los Angeles, daily, 201. Uh, New York, 277. Chicago, 161. They're going to Dallas. They're going to Austin. They're going to Tampa. They're going to Orlando. They're going to Atlanta. They're going to Phoenix. Phoenix is really taking on a lot.
New York has already been hemorrhaging residents. But do you think the ultra-left mayor, Bill de Blasio, cares a whit about that? He's too busy celebrating that his rabid left-wing daughter ended up getting arrested at one of these so-called peaceful protests. People are fed up. They're sick of these city cesspools of Democrat decay, and they're leaving. And they're taking their tax dollars and their businesses with them as they should. There's no reason on earth that anyone should be forced to suffer under such reprehensible conditions as represented by Democrat-dominated American cities. And we're beginning to see the effects of this mass exodus. It's not just for poor communities. Look at this. Look at this. It's not just the city slums becoming more slummy as a result of the loss of New York's tax base, but even the upper class culture of New York is imploding as wealthy families flee.
Let's go back to see that sign. Wealthy families flee New York City. Private schools brace for uncertain fall.
Loss of New York's tax base, but even the upper class culture of New York is imploding as wealthy families flee. Now New York's prep schools, their posh upper class private schools, may have to close their doors. Again, this already started with the whole pandemic. Wealthy families were relocating to the suburbs and have no plans on returning back to the city. They're looking at the posh public schools in these suburbs as viable alternatives to their $30,000 a year city prep schools, right? Life outside of the city is considered now by more and more people safer and healthier. So much for left-wing policies in a post-pandemic world. But it's not just New York that's in a death spiral. Every city in America is beginning to completely rot. You may have seen this report from Seattle. They've just lost $1 billion investment company. Speed Capital Management has announced that they're moving their headquarters from the insanity of Seattle to the far more sane and more affordable Camelback Corridor of Phoenix. The president and CEO of the investment company, Cole Smead, confirmed in an interview that the social unrest that's plagued Seattle over the last several weeks has destroyed the downtown business community there. So in other words, there's just no point to continue to do business in the city whose public officials care nothing, not one whit, about law and order. In Chicago, things are so bad, so many businesses and residents are leaving that the ultra-left mayor, Lori Lightfoot, right, she announced that she's actually considering raising property taxes. You heard that right. She's actually going to raise taxes as the city faces a massive budget shortfall. The Chicago mayor has already been busy groveling and pleading with businesses not to leave Chicago. She can't bear the thought of this corporate cash cow and its massive tax base fleeing her city. And one of the biggest companies that's threatening to leave, by the way, is Walmart. Their stores were heavily looted and damaged. In fact, I think that one had nothing left whatsoever after these peaceful protesters visited the store. And Walmart's saying, why should we stay here? You didn't protect us, so, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice. So, needless to say, if Walmart is considering leaving, a number of other smaller businesses are ready to follow suit as well. And in Minneapolis, the city where the riots started after the George Floyd killing there, they're seeing a massive depletion of business revenue as business owners are fleeing the city en masse. We reported a couple of weeks ago on the...
Now we need to understand that this is not just a minor trend. This is a major trend. People are sick of politicians, sick of liberal ideologies, and they are putting their money, their might, their stores, their livelihoods where it's going to be a lot safer. And this trend is going to continue. until some of these major metropolitan areas are going to look like slumlords. They bring it upon themselves.
President of Seven Sigma Incorporated, a Minneapolis manufacturing company. He announced that, hey, city officials clearly demonstrated unequivocally that they don't care about me or my business. They don't care about, my workers' welfare. They failed to protect our company, and thus we're going to return the favor. We're out of here. So they announced they're leaving Minneapolis and they're relocating somewhere else where it's actually safe, where public officials don't actually encourage rioting and looting, let alone defend it. Oh, and of course, as a result of this mass exodus, of course, city real estate prices are imploding, right? Once you begin this death spiral of cultural Marxist wokeness, it just gets worse and worse. And you end up with Venezuela or North Korea-like conditions. You effectively turn your city into Mogadishu. And Seattle even comes equipped with a bona fide warlord to boot. It really does appear that our nation is beginning to balkanize into two major factions. Those who value and love civilization, who want clean and safe streets, who want flourishing schools, who want intact families. They want vibrant churches and responsible communities. They want sane universities and prosperous businesses. Well, they're all moving to the suburbs, and even more so to the exurbs. And they're increasingly going to want to have nothing to do with these secular cesspools we call cities, every single one of which is run by a Democrat monopoly. Our cities across our country are indeed being left to rot, and ultimately, they have only themselves to blame.
We're going to leave it there. We have not seen the end of this. This decade, the choices we make in this decade are going to permanently scar this nation, clear up, and including the time when Christ comes. 13 years is not that far away, and these major trends are not going away lightly. As the politicians fail to be socially and civically responsible. Matter of fact, they show that they're civically irresponsible, and people are not putting up. They're putting their money, their might, their businesses, their dollars where they can survive and thrive. Again, this is Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Thanks, Steve Turley, for this report.